Craft Along 2025. I'm here. This is the first workshop of this year's Craft Along, so very excited to get started. Let me just adjust the setup here. I'm waiting just for that's it, my screen to update on here so I can see the live chat. So if you've got any questions during this workshop and you're watching along live, feel free to pop them in the comments and I'll hopefully see them at the corner of my eye, and I can answer the questions on the video. If you're watching the replay, feel free to add your questions and I'll get back to you either on the reply or directly. But yes, welcome along. So this year's Craft Along is all based around this new stamp set called Potty Plants. I probably should say who I am as well. So I'm Della. I'm creator and designer at Della by Design. These are all stamps that I have designed myself. Never quite sure on the lingo if I can say hand drawn, but drawn digitally with an iPad and Apple Pencil. So yes, these are my designs. So these come on a plastic sheet, so each individual stamp can be peeled off and used on its own, which is really versatile. And I've got some great card ideas lined up for you this week to show you how to use these stamps to their full potential. So, right, let's get started. So you probably guessed this is the design we're going to be making today. I've called it the Talking Pots, kind of a slight nod to the Talking Heads, I guess. So this is the design we're going to be making, and basically what I will do, I will show you how to make it from the advanced kit, and then partway through the video we'll catch up to the beginner's kit to be continued. But if you have got the expert kit, which includes the stamps and the cardstock, then if you check your cutting guide, you'll be able to prep all the pieces ready for this. So if you haven't done that yet, please pause the video. Not if it's live. If you're watching the replay, please pause the video, get all those bits ready, and then you can join us from the advanced on. So a little bit more information about this design in particular, because this design eventually, when I release it as a kit on my website and Etsy shop, it will be a box kit to make 4 cards. So let me switch to the white ones first. Now these are the complete set of 4 cards that you'll be able to make from the kit. So they're quite special. So we've got the 4 different plants that is on the stamp set. We've got the different faces, we've got the different pots, the different greetings and the different speech bubbles. So it's a lovely sort of mix and match of lots of different elements from the stamp set to make 4 very different designs, and it's completely versatile for you to mix and match which combination you want to do. So that's what they all look like in the white version. We also have the Kraft to one side. So this is the snake one for the Kraft. So when I say Kraft, it is a Kraft with a K, and that is the name of this cardstock. It's recycled Kraft card, and it makes lovely like rustic cards to give, and it goes beautifully with these creams and pinks. So yeah, that's the full set of the Kraft version. So I'm just going to give you a quick look in what comes in a box set if you've not shopped with me before. So these designs are on a 5x5 inch card, and they generally come in a box kit like this. I haven't got the labels yet for these. A handy little storage box which contains everything you need to make 4 cards. So yeah, let's take a look. So this is the beginner's version. So in the beginner's version, you would get also full written instructions, but I haven't done that. So these will go live on my site this Friday, July the 18th. So in these boxes, you get 4 envelopes. You then get the 4 card blanks with the Monstera leaves already stamped into the corners. And then here, let's do the boring bits first. So you've got the 4 rectangles for the back to mount. Then you've got the cream background panels. Then it's all the goodies are all sort of prepped for you. So you've got the pots with the faces. So you've got pots with the faces and then 2 pots without faces, and I'll explain more about that today, about why we need those ones. Then you've got the greetings, happy birthday, it's your birthday, and then all the different plants which are already coloured in and fussy cut out for you, all done by hand. So I do love sitting down, relaxing in front of the TV with nicely flat box on my lap and then cutting out all these little fussy cut bits. So that is what's in the beginner's kit. Now if you have the advanced kit, I'll just show you some of the differences. So in the advanced kit you have the background panels that haven't got the ink on them. You then have all the images you need stamped onto this beautiful shiny white, I say shiny white card, super smooth is what it's called, but it's really great to use with Promarkers, which we'll come on to today. And then it's got the greetings and all the pots you need stamped as well. So there's a bit more colouring, cutting out, and also it's exciting about the advanced kit is the ink pad. So you get the ink pad and the sponge, which we'll use to make these cards today and when we to make those, but these will last you many months after you've made these cards. So this is a great way to build up your supply of craft stash. So let me put this all back to one side and we'll get started on today's project. So if you've done the craft along with me before, you'll know, and if you've got your craft along kit handy, you'll have a parcel with one of these for each day of the week, and we can open it up and see what we're making. I don't know what we're making today. I've probably given it away already. See which colour we've got. That's it, and it's the white version. So open it up and you'll have all the bits you need in here. So I'm going to do it from the advanced version. So I've got all the bits to make one card. Got my card blank already stamped, and then the envelope, and then what I've been doing is just tucking the foam pads into the top of the envelope just to stop them from sticking to anything on there. So I'll put that to one side. We won't need those just yet. Excellent. So, and also in your kit you'll have the ink pad and sponge. I've got my large version of the ink pads because I'm using them a lot more frequently, and then I'll get the ink pad out later. But let's start off by doing some colouring. So what we're going to do is colour in the snake plant. Also a quick water break. So I mentioned earlier about this card. It's super smooth white card, and it's ideal for using with alcohol markers. My alcohol markers of choice are Promarkers, but there's other Copics and other brands available. But what's special about the alcohol markers is that they leave a completely smooth surface. So it kind of looks like you're like sort of cartoon drawing and Magna artwork. So it dries completely smooth. You don't get that sort of the felt tip, the sort of lines back and forth. And also you can use them to blend as well. If you're especially with this card, it gives you just a few sort of 30 seconds or so to blend colours together. But we won't be doing any blending today. However, I know that tomorrow's card has got a lot of colouring in, so if you want to check back tomorrow for more information about that, that'd be very useful. So Oh yeah, so the pro markers that I am using today. So I would say if you're not using these particular pro markers, or you've just got a stash of pens or pencils, use the edge of this card to test the colours, and then you can see I'm sort of aiming to get a nice match with that green for the background. Just make sure you're happy that it's the right tones. Always good to test out, so you've got all that spare around the outside. We're not using that. Actually, let's start with this. If you have got a good pro marker collection, just to let you know, I'm using leaf green for the lighter green, and then lush green for the outer mark. So I'm going to start by colouring in the centre stripe of each one. And so I kind of what can I say? I stay between the lines, but technically we don't have to at this point because we're going to be cutting this out, so it doesn't matter. But even though I know that's true, I still automatically stay within the lines. But don't worry if you go over. There we go. I'll just hold up a bit closer. Hopefully that'll focus. Unfortunately, the screen I've got to watch is quite a few seconds delay, so I won't know if it's focused until it catches up. That wonderful, that focused, excellent. So, and then let's add the lush green to the outer parts. Now again, I'll do very light touches on this because it will try and bleed across. But if it does, don't worry, because you're going to be cutting away the white stuff, and any green on green is fine. It's just a part of the plant design. And plus we're going to be adding some stripes onto it in a sec. So I should say, if these, I think most of the alcohol markers do, but these pro markers are dual tipped, so there's a different tip here, like a chisel, like highlighter style one on that side. So that's good for covering large areas quite quickly, but for this more detailed work, we want the point. There we go. Now I'm going to give that a little bit of time. Say to dry, it's obviously touch dry. However, if I go in with the extra, let me show one close up here, these extra lines in the middle, if I go into it too soon, the ink will still be slightly damp and it will blend in together. It won't disappear, but it will spread a bit more than I want it to. So I'm just going to wait a little while. Let's just cut the happy birthday. Right, so using the darker green, I'm now going to go in and just add these little lines across. You can practice on the side, sort of, you want sort of quick little dashes. A bit haphazard. And again, don't worry about going over the lines because you're going to cut the image out. At one point I did have these lines sort of drawn in with as part of the stamp. I really like how it blends in with the colour of the leaf. Very like now. So right, let's do some cutting out. So we've got 2 pots, the plant and happy birthday. So we'll cut this. Let me just hold this up so you can see that in detail. Make sure that's in focus. And yeah, so you need a pair of small sharp scissors. If you don't think your scissors are sharp enough, you can use some, that's all nice and also in focus straight away, it's handy. Maybe I should start trusting the camera now that it is actually going to focus and I'll hold it up. So yeah, some sharp scissors. If they're not sharp enough, use some tin foil and just fold it up and then just cut through the layers again and again and again, and it will just help keep the blades nice and sharp. It also works for guillotines as well. Probably not the slider ones, but the big chopping arm ones. That works well with some tin foil. Okay, so when we're cutting these out, so the pot, I'd say I'd start with the pots and the speech bubble because they're nice large shapes with swooping sides. So for the pot with the face on, we need to cut around the base of the pot, but then we're going to cut the top semicircle, or oval should I say. So we're going to come to, I'm just going to snip this bit away. Let's see what I'm doing. So then we're going to ignore that top bit and go in and cut the back of the pot away. And then, so you're aiming to cut on the outside of the black line. If you've got any yellowy bits around the edge, you can always use a little black marker or fine liner just to fill those in afterwards. And then for this pot, we're going to cut the whole shape out from the outer side. Swooping round. Now you note from here what I'm doing is I'm holding the scissors still and I'm rotating the card around to meet the scissors, which is handy for these two, but it's vital for when we're doing fiddly cutting out like this. So again, we're trying to aim for the outside of the black line. And again, if there's any white patches left, you can always just colour those in or just snip a little bit more off. And I'm going to touch around and then rotate the card. That's away. So yeah, I will find if you're cutting away any excess card can really help, because this part of the card is sort of, it interferes with how you can hold the scissors and how much the blades can move, so it's handy just to snip away those bits. Okay, so what I like about these craft long videos is I don't do any kind of Blue Peter style. Here's one I made earlier. I intend on making these designs in a relaxed pace so that you're not having to faff around trying to pause the video, rewind it and check it again. So I do chat quite a lot while I'm cutting out. You may find that you work at a slightly faster pace than me. I do take my time. If that's the case, just make sure you've got some tea and some snacks, and then you can enjoy those while you're waiting for me to catch up. So that is everything cut out now. Just move that to one side. So let's add some ink. So if you'll have if you've got the advanced kit or the expert kit, you'll have the little ink pad. You have a little one like this but yellow, and the sponge. You'll have a nice clean new sponge. I'm not going to be treating myself to a clean new sponge. I have my stash of sponges here, so I'm going to pick out the one that probably needs a bit of a haircut. That one does, but that yellow. And then the dandelion memento ink. And what we're going to do is add some ink to the white background, both yellow pots actually, and the happy birthday. So let's move everything else out the way. Now inking, this is a fun bit. So I'm doing this on a glass craft mat, which is ideal for doing this, but if you don't have one, that's absolutely fine. You can, if you use a bit of scrap paper underneath where you're working, that'll protect your work surface. But all you'll find is that the paper will absorb the ink as well, so you kind of have to use a bit more ink to get the same effect, whereas on the glass it doesn't dry, and you can sort of use it like a paint palette and keep using the ink. If you haven't, or you can use any sort of plastic packaging, find something in the recycling that would work. So let's get inking. So these handy little sponges, they just fit on your finger, index finger, and you can dab it onto the ink pad. If you're using it from the very first, I've had this ink pad a while, so I have to have it quite a few times. You'll probably find if you're starting with a brand new ink pad, it will be quite juicy and it will only take a couple of dabs. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of build up, if you can see that on the camera, so I can see that it's yellow here, it's got the ink on there, and then I'm just going to do some little circles just to smooth it out on the sponge, and then I'm going to drag that circle onto the edge of the card. So I'm not placing the sponge onto the card at all, I'm just rolling it across from the edge, because if you try and go onto it, you'll then get like a sponge imprint, which we don't want. We just want that hazy edge. So you can do the circles quite far on into the corners, that's fine. I would say start with quite a light amount of ink, because you can always build it up, can't take it away. And if you want to use a piece of card, a piece of paper, probably card actually, for this technique to just practice on and get used to this before doing it on the real thing, that's absolutely fine. So also because my sponge is well used, it does leave little bits, but they don't mark the card, you just tap them off and they're not a bother. So that is a nice hazy edge on there. And next, so we'll do happy birthday next, because this is I'm just sort of adding it for cosmetic effect. So we're going to add again little circles from off the card onto it. This technique also helps to really like tie the design together, because it just looks like everything's meant to be there. You can go quite far on that one, just leave a little white sort of patch in the middle. Excellent. Now for the pots, what we're trying to do is actually sort of add some definition to them to make it look a bit more 3D. So for the whole pot, the one at the back, all we're going to do is try and get some shade into that back panel. So it doesn't matter if it goes onto the front, because that's going to be covered up, but just So use quite a bit of ink and then drag the ink down from the top. And build it up with a few layers. Cause it's yellow on yellow, it takes a little bit more to get the colour to change. But you'll see there, so you get a nice sort of 3D shadow in the back of the pot. And then for the front half, what we're going to do is just add the ink on the sides. You can choose whether you want like the light coming from one side and have it more dramatic on one side or the other. I'm not too fussed. I'm just going to do a little shadow on the sides and on the base. Oh, I've just thought, I wonder what, I need to experiment with that because she's got little highlights in her eyes on this little face, and I wonder if a bit of a white pen, I think I've got one to hand, but yes, I need to experiment with that. A white pen just to dot on those eyes would look quite cute. So that's all the inking done that we need. So the next important step is to clear that away. And if you've got scrap paper, obviously you can smooth the scrap paper away. If you've used any kind of plastic or glass mat, then you need to clean. So I've got a wet wipe in here, ones that I use to clean the stamps. I'm just going to wipe that off of there. Because there's nothing worse than, that's how much ink was on there. Nothing worse than putting your crisp white card onto a craft mat and discovering that the inside of the card's got lots of mess on it. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to leave that just a little bit to dry. Now let's bring back all the bits that we need. So at this point we are now joining the beginners kits we've caught up. So if you've got the beginners kit, if you've opened up the Monday pack, you'll have these bits. We have the pots and the plant, happy birthday, and the mount and the rectangle, and then you'll find some foam pads tucked away in your kit as well. So the next stage, so I did say in the instructions for this one is to, if you need a wooden spoon handy, this is where it comes in. I didn't bring a wooden spoon up, I forgot. However, I can use these Promarkers because they're nice slow size. What we're going to do is curve the pots onto the wooden spoon or the marker. So just gently, don't try and do it all in one go. Just gently encourage them around the handle of the marker, and you'll get a nice curved one. And I've just realised that this pot you don't actually need to do. Apologies. So that's the one sitting at the back. This one is the one that's, which I'm going to edit the video now, but it's fine. If you've curved it, it's fine. It will still sit flat. It was just a practice run. So that one's nice and curved. And then with the snake plant as well, again, be nice and gentle this one. Just gently fold it around. So if you've got the expert kit or you've got the stamps as well, it can be nice if you want to stamp this image again. There's a one prominent leaf at the front there that looks quite good if you cut it out and layer it on top, so you get that 3D look as well. Again, with all the other plants and these cards as well, you can cut out an extra ones of the flowers and add them on top. That leaf there is quite cute as well to be raised up. Excellent. So now we've got those two curved. What we're going to do is add some foam pads to the back. So quite often when you're adding foam pads, it's to get that 3D definition, and you're just adding foam pads across the back of the whole thing. But because we want to keep that curve, what we're going to do is add a strip of foam pads along the middle from top to bottom. So I'm just going to set these. So these foam pads come in rectangles, depending on what make you have. Or you might have the tape, that works as well. But you can always cut them down to the size that you need. So I'm just going to test whether this is actually that looks perfect. So I'm going to add the foam pads onto the back. They come on a backing sheet, so you peel them off and then they're sticky on one side. Stick that down. And then I've got another backing sheet on here. In fact, I'm going to add, yes, I'm going to add 2 because I really like this curve. So I'm going to peel off that backing sheet and add a second one on. There you go, but I'm going to leave that one on because I want to play around with the layout first without it risk it sticking, because it's very strong, this stuff, and yeah, you can't move it once it's stuck. So I have that one, and then for the plant as well, we're going to add one, but actually these are too thick to go on here, so I'm going to trim them down. So I've got these, so you notice these are the blue scissors. I just have some scissors reserved for any sticky cutting out because I clean them regularly, but yeah, they always stay a little bit sticky. But if you cut the pads through the backing sheets, it stops it getting too bad. So I'm going to place that there. Not too fussed about the edges. I think it's going to be safe on the card. So just one on there. That's looking lovely. So what I'm going to do is lay it all out on the card just to make sure I'm happy with the positioning. Actually, so now I'm going to stick these 2 together because these are standard. So for this one, I'm just going to stick it flat onto the top. So I'm going to use this glue roller tape dispenser, but it's I call it my glue mouse. There's nothing in the marketing that says it's a mouse. And it just dispenses double-sided tape quick and easily, which is lovely. I'm going to add that onto the back here. I'm going to aim for a even border on each side. I wasn't having that one quite straight. Yeah. Do it on there. So you've got all the pieces already sort of pre-cut in your kits, ready to go. Okay, so now I'm going to lay out on the card. So you'll see when you've got the large box kit, some of the cards are this way round with the leaf on that side. That's just to allow for the speech bubble going left or right. So just make sure you've got the right combination of card that you want, and just going to construct all the cards. So we have the back pot, the larger one, then the plant on top, and then that one sitting there, and that will come off that side. Looking lovely. So I'm now happy with that. So I'm just going to move these bits off and then look to stick this down. So I want an even border on top, bottom and the left. So again, I'm going to stick this directly onto the card. So I'm going to use the tape runner. So if you've got any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. If you're watching along live, I can see the chat box in front of me, so I can answer your questions. That's it. Glue that onto there. Lovely. And then I think we just need a foam pad on the back of this one. That's the right size for that. And then I'm going to glue the pot at the back directly onto the card. Since this is just about to run out, I've got a refill to hand, but yeah, it's just about to run out. I think it will last for this card, and I'll redo it. So I'm just going to make sure I'm positioning. I'm happy. goes on first. Then I'm going to peel off the back for this one, and I want the end of this plant to hit underneath that bottom line so that it's neatly hidden away when we put this one on top. Keeping that curve. So line it up with the pot on the background. Squish down. And then the happy birthday. And I like it just sort of coming across over the mount. And let's clear away the mess. And there we have it. That is the Talking Pots Happy Birthday card. So I've shown you how to make this version. The other ones in this kit, obviously the colouring, I'm going to add the list of Promarker colours that I've used to them. So this one's got the, I'm always going to say love lace and it's not, lace leaf. This red lily, it's beautiful. So I've got the red and the yellow centres and those beautiful leaves. So all the other three, once they're coloured in and cut out, they sit over the rim of the pot. So you don't need to do the second pot at the back, and it can sit, both of them are on foam and they sit on top. So it's a slightly, that's why I chose to do this one today, so I could show you just that intricacy of adding the second pot to the back. And if you remember, the you get to choose, so the kits come with both. So if you wanted to mix and match and you wanted to have this pot as the snake leaf one, you could. That's why there's 6 pots rather than 5. I'd like to give you some choice, but not overwhelming. And then, if you want a quick reminder of the Kraft ones as well. So again, slightly different colour tones that I've used. So I'll add as I've done pink flowers, and slightly different, more limey greens, which is really quite fun. So I'll add those colours to the comments or the description as well once I get a chance. And so yeah, these designs will be available as box kits by the end of this week, and you can follow along for the rest of the craft along this week. I'll be live here every day at 1 PM British Summer Time, and you can see me make lots of different cards and projects with this potty plants stamp set, which has all been designed by me. Wonderful, thank you ever so much for watching along live. Please do say hello in the chat, or if you watch the replay, do say hi and do a hashtag replay. It really helps boost the video. Yes, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye bye.